Our opening song will be Bashana Haba'ah, which, and if you have a copy of the prayer book or a Kindle version, you'll find that on page 348.
Bashana Haba'ah, Neshev al Cham Yerpeset Binit Por Tziporim Nodedot Eladim Bochofsha Yisachaku Tofeset Ben Habayit Leven Hasadot Otire Kama Tov Yeh Bashana Haba'ah Otire Kama Tov Yeh Bashana Haba'ah Bashana Haba'ah Nifroz kapot yadayim mol haor hanigar alavan Anafa labana Tifroz ba'ok nafayim b'hashemesh tzira b'tochan Otire kama tov yeh Bashana Haba'ah Otire kama tov yeh Bashana Haba'ah.
Thank you so much, Juliet. That sounded great.
And I just wanted to mention, if you could all mute your microphones, just to be sure that when we're viewing and when we have people watching the video later, that they can see the leaders as they're going, especially we want to be able to see Iris tonight.
Right on. In fact, I think everybody is muted but the two of us, and let's hope it stays that way. I'll unmute microphones as needed. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. And we now turn in our prayer books to pages 20 and 21 for Lecha Dodi. And if you are using printed out prayer sheets, you can pull out the ones labeled Lecha Dodi 1 and 2 right now.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Shabbat Kabbalah Lecha Dodi Kala Shabbat Kabbalah Shamor v'zachor b'devorecha Ishnianu el hameyochad Adonai echad Shemo echad B'shem tiferet v'litila Hadodi Kabbalah B'nei Shabbat Kabbalah Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat לקראת שבת לכו במלאכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם משוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי קלה שבת קבלה, לך דודי קלה שבת קבלה. I invite you to stand in your homes, face your door, and welcome the Sabbath bride into your heart, into your home, into your minds, and may we find rest in this Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam v'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei sekula, boi chala, v'cha dodi rakala, b'nei Shabbat v'kabela, v'cha dodi rakala, b'nei Shabbat v'kabela, v'cha dodi rakala, b'nei Shabbat v'kabela, v'cha dodi rakala, b'nei Shabbat v'kabela.
Beautiful. Thank you. As we turn to our next prayer, I want to mention that there are so many of us who are unable to stand on our own 2 feet, whether from illness or age or whatever infirmity. So for the rest of the service, even at portions like Baruch Hu and Shema, where I would normally stand, I'm going to remain sitting. Those of you who would like to rise for prayers should do so as you feel comfortable, and those of you who wish to remain seated may do so as well. The rules, I guess, are a little different when we're live streaming, and we're all figuring them out as we go along. I need strength, humility, courage, patience, strength to control my passions, humility to assess my own worth, courage to rise above defeats, patience to cleanse myself of imperfections, and wisdom to learn and live by our sacred teachings. Let me not be discouraged by my failings. Let me take heart from all that is good and noble in my character. Keep me from falling victim to cynicism. Teach me sincerity and enthusiasm. Endow me with perception and courage that I may serve others with compassion and love. We turn now to, for those of you who have a prayer book, to 146 for the Baruch Hu, our formal call to worship this evening. It's not one of the prayers that we sent out ahead of time, so if you don't have it, please don't panic. You may rise or remain sitting and lift your spirits as applicable. Baruch Hu on 146.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. And at this point, I'm going to take everybody off of mute. We are going to attempt a group sing. We'll not have terrible wreck of those. Turning to page 149, for those of you who have it or want it, we didn't send it out, the little text that you all know. Let's join together with the Shema Yisrael.
Oh, that was so wonderful. I just have to say that. I know that part.
Juliet, how do I unmute you? Can you unmute yourself? Sorry, I've just muted Juliet, and now I'm trying to figure out how to unmute her.
That's what they all say.
There we go. I think you're back off of mute now. All right. So, those of you who have the on the one of the printed pages that we sent ahead of time, Ve'ahavta, if you have a prayer book, you'll find it on page 150. And even though it's just me and Juliet who are on speakers right now, please feel free to join with us in chanting it as loud as you like. Ve'ahavta.
Et Adonai Elohecha b'chol vavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom alevavecha levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha bevetecha
U'v'achtecha
derech u'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'chayu latotafot ben enecha
Uchata
al mezuzot betecha u'v'yisharecha
lemaha
tizkaru ve'asetem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem keroshim lelochechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen.
Adonai Elohechem, amen. If you're following along with me in a prayer book of some kind, where we turn to page 153. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence, we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, ha-porei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Please take a few moments for the words in the printed pages or the words in your own hearts and minds. We'll come back together with a prayer for healing in a few moments.
Excuse me, we got interrupt, but it's bad. That people can't get to you on Zoom. They say the host won't accept you. The Epsteins can't get on.
There's nothing I can do.
Do you want to call back?
I can't.
Do you want me to call her back? Why won't the host let you on?
I don't know. They here. I'll send
Justin,
Yeah.
there's an issue. You guys, there's some people that are having problems getting on the Zoom call, and they'd say we're at capacity, but we're not. So if people text you, I think maybe open whatever you have. Something's stopping people from getting in after a certain number. So
Yes. Go away.
there's something you can do. That'd be great.
Thanks,
If not, I'll put them on FaceTime or something.
If you have to, did that do it? I think that might have done it.
Something.
Did that do it?
I'll put them on FaceTime.
I think that might have done it. If you have to,
Oh, don't you?
All right. Do we have the Epsteins now?
I'm checking.
Epsteins are here.
Yes.
Woo.
Here.
Okay.
All right,
Hold on,
so
my computer.
Sharon. Everyone's
All right. We're going to continue now. You know what? I think we can come back together for Misha Berach. Juliet?
Yes.
So,
Right here. That's great. What do we do? Hi, friends. Okay. Make sure that you mute your microphones when you come on, and that way we can control what sounds are coming through. So mute your microphone as soon as you come on.
and now I know that I have to keep admitting participants as they join us in real time. Okay, one more thing to follow. This week, the congregation Beth Shalom community is thinking of Thomas Tracy, Dennis Nichols, Don Siegel, Samantha Brown, and Miles Brown, Rhonda Burns, Joyce Kleinman, Jeannie Stein, Margaret Schwimmer, Stacy Leeds, Cheryl Locks, Karen Krigo, Nancy Felsher, Declan Colleen, Bennett Leshnover, Caleb Ben Sarah Avraham, Victoria Kleiner and Vincent Kleiner Spiekeloff, Ray Riley, Jack Steneker, Brett Harper and Melissa Harper, and people everywhere who are sick and suffering. We take them into our hearts with our prayers as we sing our prayer for healing. For those of you who have Mishkan Tefillah with you, it's on page 253.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal
So at this time, I'm going to take Brent Epstein off of mute. And Brent and Iris, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all here.
You're there. Terrific. Hang on. I would like to see you on speaker view if I can. Where are you guys? Say something and hopefully there you are. There you are. Iris, I am going to pin your video to the top now. Shabbat shalom. So to the whole community, I want to acknowledge and lift up that Iris worked very, very hard, long, and patiently, and expected to celebrate the wonderful milestone of becoming a bat mitzvah this weekend. And sadly, she simply, due to circumstances beyond all of our control, she is not able to be called to the Torah formally as a bat mitzvah this evening. She will, God willing, be formally called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah in September. So we talked a lot about this, and we decided that in celebration of her hard work and recognition of her newfound ability, that she will read our Torah portion this evening, but she will do so from a book, not from a Torah school, and she will do so with the blessing over Torah study, not the formal blessing that we would usually use for the public reading of the Torah. So, Iris, are you ready? Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lasot b'divrei Torah.
Amen. For those of you who are, actually this would be for everyone. If you have downloaded the page with the Torah portion, Iris will now be reading from it. You can follow along.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, nefesh kiteh maleh, ma'al b'Adonai, v'chipesh v'amito, v'fikidon, v'shumet yad, v'gazel, asaka tamito, matzah aveda, v'chipesh ba, v'nishba al shaker, al achat, Miko asher yaseh ha'ada li'adat baneh v'aya kicheta v'yasem v'yashiv et ha'gazela asher gazal et ha'asok asher asak et ha'fikidon asher apoked ito et ha'aveda asher matzah Miko asher yeshava alav lasheker v'shilei moto berosh v'chamishi tov yosef alav l'asher hu lo yutnenu b'yom hashmato v'et Hashemo yavi l'Adonai al tamim min hatzon v'erkecha le'asham el kohen v'chiper alav hakohen Lifnei Adonai v'nishlach lo al achat miko asher ya'aseh le'ashmava.
Wow. So first things first. Let's give a huge Yasher Kochech to Iris Epstein for that wonderful Torah reading. I think there's somebody else waiting. Yes, sorry, admit all. Iris, you worked long and hard and patiently on that reading, and it shows. As disappointed as we all are that we're not able to call you formally as a bat mitzvah this weekend, we are even prouder of you for your courage and your resilience in the face of unfolding global crisis.
Thank you.
Right on. I've relished the opportunity to get to know you since becoming your rabbi, Iris, and as we've worked together on prayers and on your speech, I learned that you had some strength and some courage. But now, kal v'chomer, how much the more so. When the time is right, we'll all meet up in person for a proper celebration, and you will be all the stronger for having learned on the cusp of adulthood that things don't always go as expected. Sometimes we just have to toss the old plan aside and make way for something new. Jewish tradition usually makes a distinction between mitzvot, sacred obligations that people owe to one another, and mitzvot that people owe to our God. Obligations among people are known as mitzvot ben adam lechavero. Obligations to God are called mitzvot ben adam l'makom. Iris, I noticed that in your Torah portion, there's this verse that seems to blur the distinction. It's Leviticus chapter 5, verse 21, which is the one that reads, Nefesh ki techeta umala ma'al baronai v'chichesh ba'amito v'fikadon o v'tisomet yad o v'gazel o ashak et amito. When a person sins and commits a trespass against the Lord by dealing deceitfully with his fellow in the matter of a deposit or a pledge, or through robbery or by defrauding his fellow, or, the Torah continues, by lying about finding lost property, or by taking a false oath, the offender shall pay restitution to the victim plus 1/5 of the value as a penalty, and bring an unblemished ram from his flock as a guilt offering as well. He shall bring this guilt offering to the priest in the Mishkan, the Israelites' portable desert sanctuary. How come? Aren't these offenses against another person? Shouldn't the payback of restitution plus the 20% penalty settle the matter? Apparently not. Notice that the verse is with whenever someone sins and commits a trespass against the Lord. Every word of the Torah is carefully chosen, lovingly crafted, and fraught with meaning. Its spare prose never wastes words. So if there seems to be something extra, like sins and commits a trespass, when merely sins or merely commits a trespass would be sufficient, it's not really extra. It's a clue that there's two different meanings in one verse. What this verse is coming to teach us is that especially when there are no witnesses, God relies on us, so to speak, to be honest and truthful. So let's just say, for example, that I find something that belongs to Juliet, and I decide to keep it for myself. Then, when Juliet asks for it back, I swear I don't have it. I might think, who's gonna know, right? I'll get away with it. But if I did that, my behavior would, in effect, deny God's presence. Now, many of us struggle with believing in that kind of all-seeing, all-knowing, and all-powerful God, given the presence of so much suffering and injustice in this world. To be honest, so do I. But I also figure, like a Jew living with both modernity and tradition, in other words, living like a Reformed Jew, that God has no hands in this world but ours. It's not so much our belief in God that God needs, so to speak. It's our godly behavior that makes God present in this world of ours. Either way, it's worth it to be honest, even if no one is looking. And it's always worth it to lead by example. I might go so far as to add voluntary social distancing in a time of pandemic to the Torah's list. Sure, I could engage in non-essential travel. What's the harm? No, actually, it might injure others gravely, even if no one else knows what I'm up to. It's difficult, but it's worth trying to do the right thing as if The omniscient, omnipotent eye of God were upon us every day, all day. Notice that I don't claim that it's easy. Notice that I don't claim that even I always do it, but I do claim that it's worth trying. And that is my blessing for all of us this evening. May we have the courage and the strength to do the right thing, to lead by example, by being honest and truthful, even when no one else appears to be watching. Kain Yehi Ratzon. So may it be God's will. And Mazel Tov, Iris, and we'll do this again as soon as we can.
There at the table with my head in my hands, a column of numbers I just could not understand. You said, add these together, carry the two. Now you can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing. At a cold winter station, breathing into our gloves. This would change me forever, leaving for God knows what. You carried my bags, you said I'll wait for you. You can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing. Late night I called and you answered the phone. The worst it had happened, and I did not want to be alone. You quietly listened, you said you'll see this through. You can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing. Here we stand breathless and pressed in hard times. Hearts hung like laundry on backyard clotheslines. Impossible just takes a little more time. From the muddy ground comes a green volunteer. In a place we thought barren, new life appears. Morning will come, whistling some comforting tune for you. You can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing.
Thank you so much, Juliet. That was beautiful. I'm going to now invite our congregational president, Beth Landy, to join us for some announcements. Beth, thank you so much for all of your help. And ahead, you're live.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, thanks. Wow. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good evening. Every week we're trying a few different things. But so tonight we're going back to announcements, traditional announcements, but I want to welcome everybody, especially those that are connected to the Epstein family that have never been a part of our congregational family. We welcome you this evening, and just it was such a moving minutes time for me while we were trying to get everything organized this week. But we're here tonight, and thank you, everybody. Some very, very special thanks to our board, to Rabbi Justin, to Juliet, and to all the people that had created and changed our world into a virtual world, which I think is so worthwhile. A special mazel tov to the Epstein family. I didn't need to post it on chat because I could say it. Iris, look at it this way. Now you can start celebrating. You've got 5 months till September 4th to celebrate, and we will continue the next 5 months, and we'll be right there with you September 4th, celebrating again. But you did an absolutely amazing job, and your family should be celebrating, and you should be celebrating. You should be so proud of yourself. So now you have this all to look forward to again, in person, hopefully. I just have a few announcements and a few things to share with all of you. Obviously, as things change and things progress, we are evaluating things every single day and every single week. Right now, we will continue with our Shabbat services, the second, third, and fourth Friday of each month. They will be virtual and be streamed through our Facebook page as well. And we will let you know hopefully when that changes, which will hopefully be soon. Next Friday night is the first Friday in April, so we will not be having a Shabbat service. But April 10th, I'm thrilled to announce that we will be having a virtual Seder, our very first ever, obviously. But our worship committee and Rabbi Justin and Juliet are working to get that done. And when we have that done, which will be by the end of next week, we will send you all out a abbreviated version, probably a 30-minute Seder that you can all have, download, print. We encourage you to invite your regular Seder group that might be with you in a virtual world now. And the Zoom call can hold up to 100 connections, as well as the streaming through Facebook can hold, I think it's unlimited, isn't it? I'm not sure. But anyways, there should be plenty of room for everybody. So we're very excited about that. In addition, we're continuing to encourage all our committees and everybody in groups to create virtual environments. We have an example, our next sisterhood meeting, which invites all of our sisterhood members, is April 6th. We're having a brief meeting through Zoom and then a virtual, well, I'll call it a happy hour. Some people might call it a dinner, but we're looking forward to that. And there were some major events, obviously, that we've postponed, not canceled. One is Rabbi Justin's installation. But we will be waiting until we have the full green light that it's healthy and safe for us to reschedule things, and then we will do that just as soon as possible. A couple other things, and just keep this in mind as Rabbi Rick Jacobs says, who is the president of the URJ, this is about physical distancing and not social distancing. So know that we're all here, we're all connecting, and your CBS family is here for you as well. We sent this out in an email this week, but it's really, really important that we all connect with each other in random ways that we wouldn't normally think to do that because we see each other. So the board, Rabbi Justin, Juliet, will be calling people. We don't have a schedule or a list, but we have a list from our directory, but we'll be reaching out to you. But think about those that you know in our congregation or not in the congregation that you haven't talked to in a while. Give them a call, give them a shout out. Talk to them on Facebook, use our Zoom line. Just talk to Rabbi Justin if you want a family Zoom call. We have this connection for the year. We'll continue to have it. I have a conference line you can use. So take advantage of that. And the most important thing is if you are someone that is in need of either groceries, daily calls, weekly calls, whatever, please let me know, or Rabbi Justin or Juliet, please let us know, and we'll make that happen. We want to make sure that nobody is ignored or excluded by any means, and that we're here for everybody. So with that, again, mazel tov to the Epstein family. Thank you to everybody for being here tonight, and I want to wish all of you a very healthy and happy week ahead, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Beth.
Welcome.
And we now begin to conclude our service. It's not one of the pages that we shared prior to the service, but if you have a book and are following along, I'm turning to page 292. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust in the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear. But if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher, for when it sends us back to serve and bless the living, we learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as, in their higher moments, they themselves wished to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. This week, the congregation Beth Shalom community fondly remembers the following. We are in Shiva for Joan Laskowski, a close friend of our Vice President Judy Weitzman, who died yesterday. We are in Shloshim for Maury Schiffman, a close friend of Joan Schneider, and Anita Wilson, a close friend of Myrna Nelson. And we fondly remember on their yahrzeits Sylvia Kravitz, the aunt of Annette Gross, Irina Kleiner, mother of Andre Kleiner, Kenneth Horowitz, father of Jeff Horowitz, Leo Solomon, father of Mickey Gervis, and Eunice Weiss, the mother of Gloria Harris and mother of Myra Riley. We think of them fondly, as well as those others we are thinking of on their yahrzeits this evening. We turn to page 294, and if you have printed it out, you may pull it out now as we begin the mourner's Kaddish. You may rise or lift your spirits according to your preference. Yit Gadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divra Chirutei V'Yamlich Malchutei B'Chayechon Uvyomechon Uvchaye D'Chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv Ve'imru. Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mivarach Le'alam Ola Alme Almaya. Yitbarach Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitromam V'Yitnaseh V'Yithadar V'Yitaleh V'Yithalal Shemei Dekudsha Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tush B'chat V'Nechemata Da'amiran Ba'alma V'Imru. Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom. במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל.
So, if you, like me, are have come prepared, I'd like to invite you now to join us in a little virtual kiddush. And if not, now is a great time to go pour yourself a little l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech
Olam
haolam.
Borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah
Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam.
Olam
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav
v'ratzavanu
v'shabbat
v'sho ve'ahava uvratzon
in chila
chilanu
zikaron
ma'aseh bereshit
le'it ki hu yom techila mikra
kodesh
zecher litziyah
Mitzrayim
kivanu
Uvaharta
ve'otanu kidam
Ashta
mikol
Ol Hamim
v'shabbat
Shabbat Kodshecha
ve'ahava uveratzon hinchaltanu baruch
Baruch atah Adonai
mekah
Kadesh
Amen. Here's the moment I've been waiting for. Hope and Danny baked us a challah this afternoon. This challah cover came from Israel. It says Shabbat v'yom tov. I mean, you can all ooh and ah. There we go. This challah board is really special to us because it was a gift from the Beth Shalom family when we first moved here to Indianapolis. So we treasure it, and now I get to show off how we're using it and loving it. Please feel free to join me. It's really great watching you all sing, even if I can't quite hear you the way I would like. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech
Olam
hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
I'm only going to eat a little bit because that's wet and sorry about that. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasam lecha shalom. May the Holy One bless you and keep you. May the Holy One light up your eyes and be gracious unto you. May the Holy One lift your spirits and establish peace for you now and forevermore. And together we say, Amen. I am
Why is it
Oh, this is all of our cousins. Charles Yaski.
I'm expecting
A little bit.
And
Shalom.
If they write down
Shalom.
There you go.
everybody, love
So did you have a shower after work?
That'd be
Normally
fine.
before shopping.
Guys.